Well, it's my privilege to introduce to you Julie Rogers. Tim and Julie started coming to our church, 3 years ago? Or is it 4? I think 4. Yeah. Okay. So 4 years ago. And they're a very, very active part of the church. And Julie, just not too long ago, got certified as a chaplain, I guess you'd say, for the, what do they call that now? Not Forgotten Man Missions anymore. It's Reaching the Forgotten. So she goes into the jail and ministers to the women in the jail there. They're still shut down for COVID right now. So that was a bold step for her to make, and she's made that, and she's made a difference in ministering to people's lives. And we look forward to hearing your testimony. And so listen and see how God has been using her.
So, my name is Julie, as all of you know. I am very nervous, so I may cry a little bit. We'll cry. As I say this, I may say some stuff about my parents. That's out of no disrespect to them. I love them very much. I am a recovering alcoholic and drug addict. I grew up in a home with my mom, my dad, and my little brother. Growing up, I loved all things that other little kids loved. I loved my family, friends, riding bike, and baseball. And I also loved Jesus. I was never really taken to church by my parents. I was sent, but I loved getting on that bus every Sunday morning. I was saved at the age of 8 and baptized at the age of 10. Growing up always really seemed to be normal to me until I actually started writing my testimony and stuff. I never really realized how separated my parents were. I never seen them hug or kiss or hold hands. And they had separate bedrooms my entire childhood. Partying and drinking was a huge part of their lives, but they even did that separate. Dad would go his way, and Mom would go hers. At the age of 15, my parents separated, and my life changed. My dad was in a new home, and my mom always worked 2 or 3 jobs. Not that she had to, but that was just the choice that she made. And so with that, there really wasn't much supervision at home. By the age of 16, I was drinking alcohol and using marijuana on a regular basis. And around that age, around the age of 16, is when I also became interested in boys. I became a mom at the very young age of 18. When my son was 6 months old, his dad and I ended our relationship. During my pregnancy, I didn't drink or use drugs or anything, but at that time of separation with me and his dad, my alcoholism started back up. My relationship with my mom was bad. It was a complete mess. My people were my dad and my oldest sister. On February 20th of 1991, I lost my dad due to a massive heart attack. That day, my mom called and asked us to come and meet her and my stepdad for dinner, and our dad took us. And after dinner, we went back home, and my little brother went with my dad to my dad's house, and I went to my mom's, and within an hour after us being back home, my dad was gone. And on a very short few years later, on May 9th of 1995, after a very long battle with alcoholism, I lost my oldest sister. She has a story of her own, and I'm not really going to go into great detail, but she died of cirrhosis of the liver. At this point, my addictions became worse. I was so angry about their deaths. I was angry with everyone, with myself, with them, but I was especially mad with God. And at that point, everything that happened, whether it was good or bad, I thought I needed a drink to either celebrate something good that was happening, or a drink to get through whatever else was going on. Around the age of 30, alcohol didn't seem to be enough for me. I thought I needed more, something to make me even more numb. I started using cocaine. At first, it was just here and there, but eventually I let it overtake my life, and I hit rock bottom. I was in and out of jail. My first DUI was in 2004. My second was in 2006, and my third was in 2009. I walked the streets. I was pretty much homeless. I walked the streets with nowhere to go, and I lost everything, including my son, my relationship with my son. With the many times I was in jail, I was never scared to go. I was safe and sober. Honestly, it became a safe place for me. I remember being in Lapeer County Jail. I'd just gotten out of a meeting, and that was going to be my last meeting. And they called my name and told me to get my stuff ready. It was time to go home. I cried. I didn't want to go. I knew I was going back to the same place, the same people, and I would end up drunk, high, and right back in jail. Through all of it, I prayed, and I kept praying. I knew that I wanted to be free from all of it. I finally stopped using cocaine. I don't remember the date of it. But my drinking continued. In February of 2016, I started dating my now husband, Timothy. And in January of 2017, we were married. In our dating months and the first 7 months of our marriage, I was still drinking, and it was definitely destroying our marriage. I was destroying it. I knew I needed change if I wanted my marriage to work. I was tired of being tired and broken. Matthew 11:28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." On July 5th of 2017, I started a new journey. It was my first day of sobriety, and I rededicated my life to Christ shortly after that. Today, I am 4 years, 8 months, and 8 days sober. And some aren't gonna agree with this, but I will, in my opinion, I'll always be in recovery. I am a person of addiction, whether it's drugs, alcohol, shopping, whatever. I am a person of addiction. I have had to set some boundaries that include people and places. There are things that I'll never be able to do. I'll never be able to have just one drink. I'll never be able to go into a bar just to dance. I have family that I will never be able to go visit. I have friends that I'll never be able to go visit. I'll never be able to walk into a party store, and I'll never be able to live in Flint again. Those are the boundaries that I have set, and I know that I have to stick to them. Today, I'm living my best life. Today, I know how it feels to actually live and not just be alive. I am blessed with a beautiful marriage and amazing husband. Thank you for your love, your support, and your encouragement. I love you.
Love you.
My relationship with my son is better than it's ever been. I have grandchildren that I'm able to love and enjoy. I have a home church and a beautiful church family. Like I said a little bit ago, my family, I'm really not a part of their life. We don't really even call each other or visit. So my church family has become my family. So to all of you, thank you for your love. Thank you for the moments, the I love yous, the prayers, just everything that you guys have given me. I'm a full-time college student, and I volunteer at Tuscola County through Reach the Forgotten. A little story about the Tuscola County Jail through Reach the Forgotten. I had 2 job opportunities at that time, one at a shop and then one at Grondin's Hair Center. And I honestly was going to take the shop job because it was more money. My husband had to talk with me. He said, where are you going to be able to share God with? You know, that's what's more important right now. Well, I took the job at Grondin's. I had a gentleman named Ben came in and sat in my chair one time. I don't know if some of you have met Ben. And for most of you that don't know him, Ben has hardly any hair. But he came into the salon one day and he was able to sit in my chair. I guess I kind of jumped ahead. But Reach the Forgotten, my uncle, I had a dear uncle that was part of this ministry. And he was a recovering alcoholic and drug addict. There was a time when I was in jail and I was out on work release. And I was going back to the jail to check in. And when I got back to the jail to check in, my uncle was checking in for, at that time, was called Forgotten Man Ministries. So he met with me and he prayed with me. And when I got sober, I knew that what he did was something that I wanted to do. So when Ben sat in my chair that day, I got on a conversation and I asked him what he did in jail ministry is what our conversation was about. I gave him my phone number that day, and then he got me in contact with Mr. Mike and stuff, and that's where that journey came from. But God was in all of that, from the time of looking for a job till today. Let me see, sorry. I've had some of my toughest battles the last couple years, so I will not stand here and cannot stand here and tell you that the whole journey has been easy. I've lost my mom, my stepdad, and my brother committed suicide. I lost my dad in 2019, my stepdad, in August, and my brother committed suicide in 2019 in September, and my mom died March 9th of 2020. During my dad and mom's last days, I was able to care for them and pray with them and for them. And if I wouldn't have gotten sober and recommitted my life back to Jesus, I wouldn't have had that. And during that time of their deaths and stuff, I struggled with my sobriety. And I was honest with my husband and my aunt. And the verse that my aunt always gives me is Philippians 4:13. I can do all this through him who gives me strength. I am thankful for God, his forgiveness, his unconditional love, his mercy, and his grace. Everything, every single thing that I lost, I was given an abundance of. John 10:10, the thief comes only to steal, to kill, and to destroy. I have come that they may have life and have it to the full. Today, if you don't know Christ as your personal Savior, he's waiting for you. He knows you, he knows your heart, and he loves you. No matter who you are or what you've done, there is no greater love than his. No one will ever love you unconditionally the way he does. Come just as you are today, and if you need someone to pray with you, there's many that will, including myself.
So that testimony is given to you to see what Christ does in a person's life. And it would be better if she didn't have to go through that, but she did. And hopefully, as she shares that testimony with others, that can encourage them, hey, don't walk the path I did, you know. But God has restored so many things in your life. And God uses it all. Nothing is wasted, even though we might have regrets. Nothing is wasted. God uses that as an encouragement to others. So thank you for taking that brave step, getting in front of everybody and giving that testimony. That is important. And that's just an invitation to each one of you, if you haven't done that, consider coming up and giving your testimony. We do that from time to time. We need to hear how Christ has worked in our lives and is working in our lives. And because our Christianity is not a religion that we just observe. It is a relationship with Jesus in our everyday life, in what we do. So, all right. Well, thank you, Julie. Come up.